our adventurers lay down into the night very silently. There is the slow chanting of the druids, now relieved from another team. You guys hear, druidic speak. However, Brunor hears, "Water, water, flow free. Water, water, flow free." Repeatedly soft and chanting. Almost as if the forest around y'all are kind of like healing, just in a process of repair. Everyone kind of snuggles up on their own mat separately, just falling into a deep sleep. However, Jean kind of is tossing and turning, not having the best sleep. So she kind of reaches into her pouch and takes out this pearl that has been bestowed to her by her lineage of mouse folk. Contemplating what to do, Jean embraces the pearl, nestles it really close into her chest as she curls up tightly, slowly and finally drifting off into kind of a deep sleep. Jean, tossing and turning, her dreams are vivid and wild as her head lays to the ground. To the outside observer, one would see blue fey energy leaching from the connection spot on her head through her body, almost a sort of clairvoyant glow entering her soul very slowly, very directly, very purposely. Deep inhale, exhales. Her dreams settle as it becomes reality. Things start to formalize, pictures kind of come to mind in her head. She feels the presence in her dream, of course, of a strong energy force. The beating of her heart knocks heavily against the outside of the lacquer of the pearl. Hello, player. Right now, you are in a state of nothing. Although you have no ears, you hear a voice speak out to you. Very soft, harsh male comes across as you hear, "Hello. The forest is weeping for aid. It's your time to join the material world once more. Our reality of ripple is going and reacting to, with a solid beat of Jean's heart, spreading on the outside of the pearl as a luminescent blue fey kind of leaks and cracks, kind of like a gas out. You hear the sound of crackling glass, Jean specifically waking you up. You hear the shattering of the metaphysical boundary between fey and mortals. But it's very meek, very almost injured. In front of you, you're holding and embracing this pearl, giving essentially your fey mousefolk essence a purpose as crack, crack, crack. Now, you are experiencing the sensation of sight for the first time. It's very harsh. In the middle of dark, it's very, even though it's middle of midnight, this pure darkness is very bright and vivid to you. This is the first thing you've ever seen, but your eyes are still closed. Whoa. That's deep. What do you do?
I say, "Hello, can anyone hear me?"
Can anyone hear me? Seeping through as a sort of visible essence, Jean sees the voice exit the pearl before she hears it.
What? Am I dreaming?
You sit back, allowing yourself to kind of hold it a little bit more. What do you do?
No, you are not dreaming. I am real. Where am I?
As you say, "Where am I?" The crack goes from being, an inch or two to now half of the diameter, half the radius of the sphere.
Have to be awoken.
No. Silence. Everyone else, including the travelers, fast asleep as Jean is communicating with this.
Do I notice that it cracks more?
Absolutely. It's right in front of you.
Okay. What? I didn't start. Go. Oh no, the pearl. What's going on? Who are you?
I don't know.
um. Does it crack even more, or I'll hold it tighter.
Yeah, you hold it tighter as this sort of disembodied voice is calling out to you. And as you pull it tighter, you feel the lacquer of the pearl kind of lemon against your chest as it kind of like squishes, cracks, pops, and out flutters immediately. Flying and levitating is a little fairy. Will you please describe your physical appearance?
Do I have that, or do I just describe it myself?
Yeah.
Describe what you look like.
How do you think you look?
I got sparkly wings with a little unicorn horn that I've made myself and put on. I am probably about the size of this water bottle, a little smaller actually. About to hear.
Tiny.
And I got a little squeaky voice.
What color are you?
Purple.
Do you leave the little sparkle behind whenever you go somewhere?
I do.
No, purple sparkle.
Roll me a history check, please. Or, history, nature. Yeah, history. Actually, I do religion or arcana. I'm lying.
Well, they're all gonna be all the same. 7.
With the 7, you have no idea what this
Yeah.
really is. Like, you've heard stories of, like fairies, and you guys fought some mephits, so maybe you have to kill this thing.
Yeah.
You're kind of frightened.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you react?
Am I still holding the pearl? But she came out of it.
Yep, and then essentially, like, you kind of like,
Yeah, I'm gonna drop what I was holding, what's left of it,
yeah.
and just like kind of take a step back and like crash, boom, bang, maybe wake them up.
Crash, boom, bang. Absolutely. Loud enough. You toss, your shield. You kind of like peer back, and you guys hear like
Yeah.
the meddling clank of like her lantern and her straps on her stuff, and you guys are kind of like jolted awake, messing up your sleep. You guys see the very luminescent sort of newly found thing fluttering as her fluttering is actually noticeably like loud here, following her visual description.
Do I understand what it is?
I want to say, I think I'm dreaming.
What's
going on?
Tis not a dream.
Yeah, roll to see if you're dreaming.
Me?
Yeah.
19.
You are convinced you're actually awake.
Okay.
You fell back on your shield and you
Yeah.
actually like set it off a little bit and your arms started burning.
Okay.
You are awake. You know that this is real and this is happening. And Bruno now, 2 mats over,
Yeah.
is now looking at you, looking
And
for an
looking at it.
explanation about
Yeah.
what is happening.
Okay.
Can I just start crawling over and just look at you obnoxiously close? Just
It's shiny.
Absolutely.
It's
She's shiny. She's shiny.
I'll go, the pearl, it's broken.
did you sit on it?
No, I was holding it close.
Aw. Maybe it just needed a really warm hug.
And this came out?
This came out of that?
I think so.
Well, you're saying
What are
another
you?
person comes out of love?
Whoa. Is that how all babies are born?
Is this your child?
I don't think so. The princess gave it to me.
Are you a princess too? Wait, can you talk? I haven't heard you
Hello?
say.
It speaks.
I'm just.
What? Nature?
Yeah.
18.
Awesome. Immediately, What's yours?
Also 18.
Also 18.
Wow.
Okay. For shits and gigs, what you got?
Nat 1.
That one.
You woke up and you're convinced this is a dream.
Why am I always
You're
so
like,
gay?
You're hallucinating.
Clothes on in my dream? Weird. Odysseus is just so out of it. You guys look at him, his eyes are fucking crossed. However, you two are very in tune as to what's going on. She's describing it came from the pearl, and with an 18, both coming from the forest, you guys understanding, this is a birth of a Fae entity. And for background a little bit, the Fae in this, for the sake of our game here, the Fae interact on their own plane, and when they manifest themselves in reality, that's usually done towards, I'm going to say you guys actually kind of know this, because of like a shift in the Fae field. So, intrinsically, kind of thinking about what Acronis said earlier, you guys are all kind of keying in on the fact that there's been such a shift in Fae that we're getting the birth of new ones, both good, possibly, and bad. So it's all just kind of sitting here, seeing the birth of this spirit is kind of connecting everything behind you. As well as our dog is connecting with the sheep behind us.
They're firing.
There's rough houses.
Let's see,
They do
Just
love
wants
sheets.
a love.
What?
Why do you like sheets?
I just kind of say, like, it's a being of the Fae.
Wait, you're purple like the
Faye.
bad stuff on the island. Are you good or bad?
I'm good.
You need to explain what Fae is.
in your head, just kind of for reference, I don't think necessarily you would have a concept of good or evil.
I'm
You
a
know
baby.
intrinsically that the forest and the energy around you, like you feel more connected to it than anything else. You think that is like you're like tethered to this world, so you feel that intrinsic ability to protect and kind of connect with that. You don't necessarily think a good or bad either,
Okay.
right?
Not destructive. I like her.
I don't.
Insane.
That was just kind of for her. I don't know if you guys'
Oh.
character knows that.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know.
That's for her to tell.
Okay.
Oh, right. So then I am leaving it to you guys at the moment.
So I say, why have you come here?
I'm kind of confused on who any of you guys are. This man looks at me like I'm a hallucination, and I'm cracked out of her. So if you guys could explain what you are doing here, maybe I can help.
You came out of a pearl?
I did.
Is that where every baby comes from?
Koyori goes, no, you've helped birth so many kids. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, I smell it, Nick.
Come on. It's like Tim didn't even happen.
Tim.
Well, the one that you dropped.
Oh yeah. That's why
Brother
he's a
Tim.
little messed up.
But Koyori kind of stops when she kind of, waking up as well, kind of leaning over on her dirty little being that you see. It's just kind of like a brown lump. She kind of says, so what's your name?
I don't have a name.
You gotta name her too. You named our other siblings.
Kind of look like a fluffer noodle.
Well, I'm just sitting here. I don't know what you are. So, I'm gonna grab my. But I'll just grab my quiver and I'm gonna chuck it at you.
Oh!
Because I want to see if you're real.
Okay, roll the hit.
Oh my god.
I want to see what she does.
Okay, so look what your armor class is.
Mm,
Do I have?
I've got 9. Do I add anything to the hit?
Your proficiency.
I don't have an armor class. I got no, like,
Oh, wait,
12.
like we didn't roll for your stats.
No.
That's
No.
fine. We can do that later.
we'll just go with it.
Yeah.
What did I do? 12.
With a 12. Yeah, for all intents and purposes, I say you do manage to kind of like whack in the side of her. Roll for damage. Roll D4 if you just kinda, like lock it.
I don't know. It's the triangle one.
Trace.
Yeah. As you're kind of looking at the little mouse folk that had managed to, bring you into this life, not paying attention, to the side of you, just kind of like thrown off course. You're almost bending one of your wings. You got the wind kind of knocked out of you. As a quiver up twice the size of you smacks into the side and clangs to the ground, arrows scattering all over.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I feel protective over this thing
I
that I've
go-
been carrying with me for weeks. I'm like, hey, that's my baby.
I go, I was just born to this world. Who is this man?
So this is real.
You
My
owe me.
bad.
You owe me a new wing.
I take out one gold piece that's about the size of her head. I give it to her. Her one little hand to see if she can carry it.
That's a really good point. Yeah, she carries it. But
Okay.
And I decide to drop it and say, no thanks. Not from you.
do you know what the concept of money is?
Yeah.
No. I don't want anything from him. He just threw something.
Yeah, refusing to take any gifts, your coin clangs to the ground and rolls near the front of the tent.
Tragic.
He's not gonna go get it?
He's not even gonna go get it. He's like crossing it off on his thing.
It's like I got too many.
I tried.
Oh, very neat. You guys actually, though, for being as loud as you are, I keep rolling. No one's waking up. So you guys are technically just kind of, whatever. You guys don't get a long rest because your long rest was interrupted.
Okay.
However, if that's kind of all you guys are,
I want to know where you came
Yeah.
from.
What is
Where
your
were you
name?
before now?
she goes, Summer! Koyori goes,
Yeah.
Summer Fluffer Noodles.
The little one named me.
Fluffy noodles.
Weren't you here?
He's not paying attention.
I wasn't there at that point in time.
I came from the hands of her.
It was cute.
Okay.
Were you always inside that pearl?
I guess
You must
so.
be magical.
I like to think so myself.
Did you hear all of our other adventures? Is that?
Should we like
No, she doesn't know.
lay out the history? Let's just like lay out the history of the pearl, kind of like
What we know
Just
of
like
it?
en masse, you guys kind of
yeah, like long story form.
Awesome. So you guys just kind of like go around and introduce kind of who you guys are and what you guys have been doing. Then.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So then you guys discuss what happened on Poseidon's ribcage and how like there had been like an influx of negative fae and how your pearl was kind of like a relic of the mouse folk, where there's some of their fae was stored, and it seemed that you have manifested physically. At this point, you hear their tales. Roll a d20 to see how well you're persuaded.
8.
With an 8, I would say you're very cautious about the information being fed to you because you just kind of came into existence minutes ago. So you're skeptical about their claims, and you're a little bit unsure about their character. However, their stories seem to be very righteous and usually to help those who are disenfranchised. So.
Well, I will mention to them, since I hear Fae, I will tell them about my background of Fae and where I come, and how I connect with Fae, with my
Yeah.
energy.
Which is essentially, I don't know what to say.
And I'm gonna be like, well, if you want to protect the fae of this world, we're making missions. The cosmos has guided me to do thus, and my friends here have decided to accompany.
We're on an adventure.
Yeah! So Koyori just kind of like flops back exhausted.
And I'm also gonna be like, first thing in the morning, we're gonna get supplies and head out. So I'm like, I'm just gonna lay back down, personally.
Can I offer my bear pelt to Leia?
Yeah.
I don't know if do you sleep?
I take
you take a couple
intermittent
blinks.
naps.
You blink several times before you realize that having a physical body is exhausting. Sleep would be nice.
Do you want a snack and a blanket?
Thank you.
Snack and a little bed for you kind of lay it all out. She's so
I'll
tiny.
lay it
The
down
pelt you
for
try to
you.
give her, by the way,
Yeah.
is like covers her whole body.
Yeah.
I'll lay it on the. I lay it down so it's not dragging you to the floor.
You lay down. I'm assuming you just kind of get comfy.
Yeah.
I lay down.
next to Jean.
My fluttering
Yeah.
stops and I eat my snack.
Overall, I'd say Jean's probably too excited. Just kind of
Yeah, I was gonna say. A little too distracted,
She's
shaken, shocked.
keep kind of like opening your eyes a little bit to see that this is real. She's
Yeah.
she's still
So I try to go back to sleep, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I keep looking.
awesome. As the little bit of commotion dies down, you guys fall back into sleep. After our brief intermission, our party is going to awaken. Summer, will you roll me a d6, please?
2.
With a 2, you guys awaken to a few birds chirping, not normally like the loud chorus that would fill the forest, but just enough to know that they are still there. You guys wake up, the sun is shining, you see like a cloud or two, but it's going to be, for all intents and purposes, a beautiful day. As you guys kind of look around, most of the other travelers had kind of like already waken up because you guys slept in a little bit later because you woke up or whatever. And by the way, I will say that you guys did have a full long rest. All your stats are up. You guys are fully healed. You guys are kind of infected with the positive radiation of energy from your new possible party mate. However, in the middle of the night, Odysseus did not make best of terms with the new recruit. So we'll see how this all works out. I'm gonna say you guys wake up in your little tent. You guys hear and smell the ever-ending stew, kind of hitting your nose. You guys.
Breakfast.
Koyori goes, breakfast.
Where do we go for breakfast?
Yes.
We got a long
So
day
you
ahead of
are
us.
real.
Is this man still drunk?
Maybe.
I wasn't even drunk. My bad for throwing that at you last night.
That's probably gonna like.
As I go and pick up my quiver.
His arrows scatter around. Odysseus bends over, very audibly, picking up his crossbolts. As everyone kind of grabs a bowl of chow, just kind of like before they leave. Even Koyori gets an extra one for Muck, as he's, you can see him kind of licking his lips.
Can someone carry my bowl?
Yes, you see and you understand this need for hunger, as you have a primal satiation that needs to be fulfilled.
Do you know how to eat?
You say as you kind of sit down at the table, her bowl, as you kind of float around over, I'm assuming, and just kind of standing next to it is very daunting. It's almost like it's a hot tub to you.
Do we have
Cool.
spoons, or are we just like a slurping type of?
Muck is on the ground, just
that's
getting
Muck.
into it.
I'm gonna just.
Koyori is foregoing a spoon as well, and just.
I see Muck and just start going in.
This is how we're supposed to do. You go in. Roll a d20 for me.
13.
With a 13, you go in and you get your face in there, and you realize, oh, this is hot. And you pull it out before you manage to burn yourself. But, temperatures are a thing, huh? As you guys are kind of sitting there, kind of eating.
Can I tell her to blow on it first? Go. It makes it nice. That's all.
Can someone roll me a d4?
4.
Interesting. You guys hear a creaking of cane on the grass as a very withered Acronis is going for his morning ration, his morning bowl of what you guys assume is to be sort of like a vegetarian porridge. It's full of, it's very thick and fibrous. It's very dark brown with stripes of green within it.
I'm gonna say in Druidic, like, good day rise.
He says in Druidic, may the sun enter your spirit. As he nods before.
I wanted to kind of inquire and bring up the Scold Rider to him.
Oh, interesting.
I met this skull that I had acquired from the evil captain. Rolled out of my bag when I came through the portal and almost killed me as it took on its body as a skull-headed rider. Do you know anything about him?
Without missing much of a beat, he says, "As soon as you have met Marty Melanomus."
What do you know of him?
Marty Melanomus. And he kind of rocks back and forth on his cane, but he says, Marty Melanomus was a very, very evil battlemancer for the house of Melanomus. Him and his family, he was not directly in line for the throne, however, he desperately wanted it. He was willing to prove himself in any way possible, without any sort of moral restrictions. Marty Melanomus experimented and expanded upon negative forms of torture and really drove the sort of state of racism and the abhorrent attitude of certain folk in Apuva and the lands beyond. Marty Melanomus is a force that so evil, even after death, his spirit roams. And it seems you have crossed his path.
Yeah.
And he has not taken a liking to what you seem to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tried to kill me.
He says, I, for one, am glad to not be in your shoes. Making enemies with a demon of his caliber.
Well, I mean, aren't we all kind of fighting them together? We're Druid brothers, right?
He says, well, I'm going to get some breakfast. I will speak to you shortly. And then gives you like a curt little smile.
I just feel like really disappointed. It's like, oh man, we're supposed to be all druids together. He's not backing me up at all. The kumbaya is gone.
I'm sorry. And he goes and gets a little bowl of porridge to seemingly avoid the rest of the conversation. He comes back and approaches the rest of the table. And he says, I've tried to communicate with Scarrett, who sits upon Wyndham's crown. He was unresponsive to my cries, and I believe contact with him must be made directly. His spirit resides at the top of the crown to watch over the lands. I'm sure that is where our prayers, nay, our connections will be strongest.
How many days travel to there?
Conveniently, there's steps to the peak, nearly 2 million long. Expect several days travel, depending on pace. Be prepared. None of you seem outfitted for winter. I would recommend.
Oh, it gets cold?
He kind of just motions to the top of the mountain peaks, and you guys see it's very like snowy, icy. You know, you guys actually see there are like, even though it's sunny where you guys are, you see heavy clouds that like are kind of like stopping the rain that's kind of before it gets over the mountain.
Can I gauge, since I have a connection with the earth, kind of like how big this mountain is, or like how basically how big it is, how treacherous it's gonna be?
So essentially, this is like one of the peaks. This is like one of the peaks of the land masses of this world. So this is going to be one of the higher peaks, but there is a kind of direct path towards it.
Right.
So there is like, it is well traveled, but it's kind of like trying to summit Everest, but it's not that long, and you guys are adventurers who are used to it. So like,
Right.
picture that.
With steps.
Gotta get some
Yeah.
boots.
I do have what it's made out of, like actually in my notes. I don't know where in my notes because it had been a month since our last video. But I can give you that information next time.
Okay. Cool.
Mr. Cronus, where can we buy warm clothes?
As you kind of say that, you guys kind of like focus in on you guys have been really focused on your conversations and, getting to know the new being. But you guys are kind of hearing like a little bit of rustle and tussle as you guys see like some open stalls. This time they're not really like stalls per se, as more just kind of like big dips with large fauna that they just kind of like have set up like some crates and showing their wares. And you can see that there's a couple travelers that have like carts that are set up and such. So there is quite a bit there for travelers, but it's not going to be fully extensive as you would in Cuba. You guys all got that without even needing to roll a perception check, just because it's all pretty much right there. Acronus kind of waves and says, "Our travelers go through a very positive vetting process. Our wares are free from the exploitation of the worker." He kind of glances completely past everybody. Roll me a perception check.
Everybody?
Just Lucius.
Nat 1.
Odysseus looks around. He notices none of his family's seals are anywhere on any of this stuff, and you're kind of, as you kind of look around, you're kind of offended that your goods haven't reached the full market potential, actually. So you're just kind of like scheming, like, wow, maybe this is it, you know what I'm saying?
Markets.
The potentiality with a 1 perception.
Bet.
Acronus says, "However, I do fear for the state of the forest. My druids can only work so hard. I've contacted Puva, and they're just going to send us fresh blood, but most of them are children."
Blood?
Do you want the blood of children?
Why blood?
We're druids. We're not warlocks or necromancers.
Oh, misinterpretation of my words. However, we must keep drawing strength from the earth and supplying it to the land creatures. So,
Whoa.
Yeah.
No.
Scarrett's
What about these children?
Yeah. What?
the
What do you do
children
with
will
them?
be enhancing their druidic powers and their connection to the forest by helping us to rise this water through the aquifer.
Not dying?
You're not using their blood?
We will not.
Are you killing children?
You're not being specific at all.
No, it's very vague.
He's not offended by these claims, but he doesn't know how to refute them. But so he says, well, please, let us know. We value what you have done for the Druidic Circle so far. Please inform me of your plan with the world seeds, and then I shall return them to you.
You
He
did
has-
not clarify in the blood.
I think
he
we're
says,
gonna visit
"We
Scarrett.
will not be using the blood of children directly."
Do I believe him?
So, he rolled a 10 charisma.
Do I just
Sure, if you want.
That one.
You believed him. You totally believed him.
Okay. Like, huh.
Think.
Glad we didn't
Had
bring
me
those
for a minute.
kids.
Fuck that. Can I roll it too?
Sure.
I don't believe his ass. 11, motherfucker.
You don't believe him. You think he's just selling some shit.
Bruno. I don't fucking trust this guy.
He doesn't hear you.
He said no.
Do
Or
I?
no, Bruno hears. Or he.
Oh, Bruno hears me.
A Cronus doesn't hear.
Okay,
you.
okay.
I'm like, you just said.
Do I have some sort of energy feeling coming from this man since I am connected to Faye?
A Cronus, as after directing, talking to, getting the lowdown about like the plan a little bit, so he kind of looks in the face of you and says, "Wow. I guess now is a great time to fix the Fae field. Wouldn't you agree?"
I don't trust this man.
Is she a fae?
He uses druid craft to kind of craft in you like kind of like a really small version of like a purple lily. I'm gonna go lily. I want a purple lily.
Okay.
Essentially, and he hands it to you. And he says, "Take this as a symbol of our simple gratitude. May you seek refuge with us." Basically, he knows exactly what you are after seeing your manifestation.
Okay.
He doesn't know who you are, but he knows what you are.
What I am.
Is that good?
To him, that's all that matters.
Everything is being dodged.
Being dodgy.
You gotta roll higher.
I didn't roll at all.
Exactly.
Can I?
Sure. What do you want to roll for?
I don't know. I don't want to roll.
I'm gonna roll to see if I sense a good energy.
Okay.
From this
Awesome.
man.
Yeah. Sweet. Just roll a d20 then. Generally.
7.
Okay, with a 7, you can recognize that this man is a very strong magic user.
Okay.
You're not able. I guess you can tell that he is very in tune with nature, and he's probably going to be a protector of the nature. You don't know how he feels about you, I guess, but you think that generally he's a decent guy.
Okay.
I just want to ask the group, like, so we for sure want to go see the Great Centaur?
And then the Acron was kind of like excuses himself to go eat with his things.
What are we gonna go see the centaur for?
To
Heal the seeds.
ask him to help heal the land and possibly get more information on these seeds before we go to Yukon's.
You guys hear
Yes.
Muck kind of burp really loud.
I feel like they doing some foul stuff in this land.
We just cleaned up the foul stuff.
Some. I think there's more. It's not worth digging into. But can we trust this centaur dude?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, he protects the forest.
He looks over the entire
Yeah,
island.
to be fair,
Yeah.
Scarrett is a demigod, or like a god, essentially.
I want to meet a god.
Fuck it, hell yeah. Should have started with that.
Okay, well, do you guys want to
Let's go get some jackets.
get some supplies?
Yes, we need supplies.
Yeah.
To the market we go.
To the market we go.
And I just learned temperature, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I had my food and it burned, what happens if it's is there different temperatures?
Yeah. When it's hot, you wear the least amount of clothes that feels comfy to you and go from there. When it's cold, you wear everything covered.
Where we are going, is it warm or cold?
Cold.
I think I need to find myself an outfit.
Koyori's been sitting very silent listening to this conversation.
Gloria, do you have a jacket with you?
No. It's my leather.
Gotta get you a jacket.
I need to
Well,
layer.
Muck. Will Muck be fine?
Muck is fine.
Okay.
Look at him.
He's got mud. Will the mud freeze?
Muck is just kind of like point at him, and he's so stuffed. He's actually on his back, and you guys see his little paws up. And his little tail is like actually it's not a little tail; it's a very thick tail. But sweet. Yeah. So you guys managed to finish your porridge. Everything's good, and you guys go and peruse what the market has to offer. For the sake of brevity, our items have already been kind of gone through, and I'm sure you guys don't want to watch us haggle. Okay. So you guys kind of spend the afternoon, the morning, up until the afternoon, kind of shopping, getting yourself ready. So kind of give us an overview of what you guys were seeking in the market and what you found.
I was seeking a whip, some soap, a lamp, and some winter gear, more specifically like boots, things to cover my hands, a jacket with a hood or hat of sorts to keep my head warm, and manacles, which are, you drop them on the ground and it binds a small to medium strength player in place until they either pass or fail a constitution saving throw.
Oh, Gitsamani is planning a trap, it seems. Interesting.
I want to get about 24 lodestones and legume seeds. And along the way, I'm going to keep my eye out for dead grasshoppers and just kind of take the legs off of the corpses.
Which pairs you
Not
well.
killing any, but just, watching out.
Absolutely. The lack of water is actually almost immediately affecting the area around it, so you find that with ease. Pluck, 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 baby.
I also would like to try and find like a heavy fur jacket and kind of like a Russian style fur hat, or that I could put like over my jumping helm hat thing, and just cover that up.
Awesome. All right, so these guys in this market, they're not having direct like fur being sold. What they do is it's like a kind of like a plant, like a coconut that they've kind of worked into a sort of like a fibrous but kind of fluffy material,
Okay.
So does that work well for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's just gonna be like that shape, but coconut.
Yeah, basically bright fuzzy coconut hat.
Sweet.
Anything. Did Ludicius do any shopping?
Odysseus did some light work. Of course, cold weather gear, must have. Purchased a climber's kit. We are climbing a mountain.
So smart. So
And poison. Just
smart.
a guess.
I actually have a question for you. Would you like
Is he gonna
the poison purchase to be known to the group or not?
No.
All right. You have a vial that slips pretty much directly like into your thick gloves, as a little chamber, because that's
don't
some
know that.
royal shit,
Exactly.
Royals need to be able to have a blade or hidden thing, and your gloves that you already had in your possession, let's say, with your insignia engraved on them, has that little chamber for your poison.
Nice.
So you can say quick acting poison. Essentially, you're just kind of like, I'm letting you forge like an item.
I'm forging it right now.
Essentially, like in my head, Ludicius is being really thrifty about this, and he wants his poison to be ready at a moment's notice.
Correct.
Essentially,
So it's a vial.
yeah, just like a little thin vial that you kind of like say like is like slipped into your glove, like ready
Your
for like
pouch.
release.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool. Release. I want to tell you how I'm going to use it yet. So basically, right, it has an opening, and I have the ability to access it very discreetly without anyone knowing to use as I please.
Yes, I'll say that you're able to do that all
How many-
because you've been in that scenario before.
Yes. How many uses of this poison do I have?
Yeah, I'd probably say one per vial.
But
But you could do one in each hand. Does that work?
what if I don't use the whole? What if I don't even use the whole vial?
That's a good point. Then it'll probably only be half as effective. But yeah.
Are you gonna poison me?
You don't know nothing about my poison. I don't know what you're talking about.
Roll me a stealth check, please, or a deception check.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, either do a stealth or a sleight of hand.
I'm going for fucking stealth.
Ha, 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 ha.
18.
Oh, easily. Okay. Someone roll for perception if you guys were trying to like keep an eye on Ludicius.
4.
10.
Nothing. No one sees Ludicius as you manage to go to that one stall from the shady-looking human who has like a very kind of dark cloak and raspy little face. You can see that he actually has a burn mark, possibly a scaling. He offers you a vial of poison. He doesn't tell you where it comes from. He says you don't need to, but we will finish off a foe. Wait. Does he recognize you?
No.
He does not recognize you.
Is that it?
You're royalty, so I have to roll for that sometimes. Was there anything specific that Jean bought?
Well, obviously warm clothes. I'm thinking like just a really long jacket, you know? Just like
a
one-
duster?
Yeah. Like really long and just like puffy.
Walking around like a penguin.
Yeah, no, I look like a penguin instead of a mouse.
Exactly.
And then
When you walk, it drags and it actually like obscures your
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I want a pickaxe
Okay.
for like kind of climbing pickaxe type thing, you know?
like a hand axe essentially.
Yeah.
Like an ice pick.
Ice pick, yeah. That's more what I was
I think
going
you
for.
should get climbing tools as well.
Okay, instead of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, let us know in the comments if you want to hear us haggle.
Yeah. To haggle or to not haggle. It's up to
Right.
you guys.
And then I found a little potion shop, and since I'm now carrying a poisonous shield, I pick up an antitoxin. And also,
Good
so
plan.
smart, actually.
also a potion of healing, just to have.
Sure.
I still have a full quart of potion of healing too.
I don't think you told anybody that.
No, I didn't.
Okay, then
I
I
told
just
you because it's
then I
on
get
my
some.
list.
Right. Awesome.
Oh, I also want to get Spring of Mistletoe.
Ooh,
Sounds good.
mistletoe.
So what does Summer think about the sort of trading for goods and services?
Yeah.
I'm very confused, and I'm just hoping that I can pop into one of the pockets of their coats for this travel.
Just stay warm.
Yep.
I'm sure Jean has many pockets in their vest.
Can I fashion, since I killed the bear for my bear pellet, can I fashion a teeny tiny coat for her?
Or a little pouch,
Ooh.
Yeah.
something like
Like-
a sleeping bag almost.
Yeah.
Put a little square out and
Yeah, and I just like use some of the bear fibers, like the hair, to just like sew it into a thingy.
roll me a sleight of hand check.
That is a 6.
You make it, and it is very, very crude, but you're so proud of it. You know, like it's kind of crooked, it's all cut weird, you know, it's not angled right or whatever, but you're so excited to give it to her.
It's warm. Here's a warm thing for later.
Also, I'm sorry, I didn't look at things as much as I should have. But, could I find a crystal of some sort? Just like a really cool crystal.
rocks, bro?
I'm looking for some rocks.
There's probably some rocks nearby. Okay, so are you
Cool.
searching for a crystal, or are you trying to buy
Buying.
a crystal?
If they have any, I'd like to buy.
Okay, roll me a d20, and you need to score above a 5 to find what you're looking for.
15.
Perfect. You find a little stall of a chunkier, what seems to be a mother, with a bunch of rocks on display. Very proud.
Okay.
And it was very much willing to talk about every property that they have and everything, whoever her selection is.
Yeah. So what kind of crystals?
Immediately jumps into it, and you can kind of connect to this as as a druid here, because you're getting like sort of energy vibes that she's describing one by one, showing off how this one, if you look into it, it's like different like colors of red and different abysses, and you're finding fractal patterns to be just mesmerizing. And she kind of ends up selling you on like 3 times as many rocks possibly.
Yeah, I'll get like 3 crystals.
Yeah. Okay. She rolled like an 18 persuasion.
Whew.
Yeah, I'm gonna get 3 crystals for sure.
Oh yeah, she
At
definitely.
least.
You got from
She
that.
she doesn't like overcharge you, but she has fair prices that she thinks are fair. You know.
Okay. So like 1 purple, 1 multicolor, 1.
Oh, and then one very deep crimson.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Okay. And that's all.
Awesome. At the end of it, you had talked to this woman so much. She felt so close to you. She reaches over the counter and kind of hugs you, knocking over a couple of crystals she had like on display. You know, just to really cement the feeling of good energy.
I kind of reluctantly hug back because I'm like, you know, I like to connect with nature from a distance, not really like on a personal level. You know, I like to observe more than.
Actively participate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of end it first.
Yeah. You and then she's, oh, well, you're welcome anytime, honey. And when she says time, like a whole bunch of spit flies off and lands on your face.
Thanks.
Connected forever with germs.
Come back, please.
Gross.
Yeah, Ludicius was watching. I actually managed to watch the spit fly like from
Yeah.
onto your nose.
Took a good amount of gold.
Yeah, you guys are kind of walking around a little bit lighter from the gold that you have, but now you guys feeling the heat from your kind of winterized garments. I don't know if you guys have equipped them yet.
No.
I have.
Mine's just chilling in my bag.
I just have the hat on.
Coincidentally, as you guys were ending your shopping spree, you guys noticed like some of the shops kind of in such closing down. It's kind of like a midday, like it's really hot, so they're kind of taking their break for the day. As the midway kind of settles down, and you guys see it, like there's a little bit more traffic at kind of like the Everstew tent. However, sorry, can you guys all roll me a nature check, please?
Mm-hmm.
13.
3.
4.
And then add your intelligence. I have 4.
7. But do I only do a 3?
Okay. You guys, with your nature checks, are kind of a little bit oblivious, but you guys kind of walk over a bridge that was supposed to be like over the river that used to be flowing and such, and it just looked very pitiful, kind of sad. You can see the rocks and the moss that had been growing from like the river is starting to dry up and discolor a little bit, and it's just like really disappointing, and kind of drains on your guys' spirit a little bit as you kind of walk past. I'm assuming you guys are kind of on your way back towards the teleportation stone place to kind of speak with Acronis about your plan again.
Yep. I want to get those seeds before we head off up the mountain.
Awesome. So coincidentally, you guys managed to make your way up, climb the ladder, no problem. You just kind of like flood up next to Jean as she ascends. As you guys kind of go peek around the corner, you guys see the world seeds sitting on top of like the altar that is in front of the teleportation square. And you guys see kind of Acronis simply kind of inspecting, and he's just present with them. You guys kind of look around. There's
Gaston?
there's only one person nearby, and it actually is Gaston. He's that was a good roll. He's standing nearby with bandages across his chest, near Acronis.
So
He's using like a giant staff to kind of hold himself up as support. So he's up.
So I walk over there and I kind of like ignore Acronis since he obviously doesn't really care to protect me, and from the bad guy. And I just talk to Gaston. I'm like, "How are you doing, brother?"
He says, "Oh, I'm recovering a little bit each day. Well, I'm very scattered, very scattered. I had to put a lot of internal power to ensure your safety, but I would do it again in a heartbeat.
And I for you.
He says, you made your decision. Very strong and capable group, but Acronis has been detailing your encounter, and I fear for your safety.
Well, someone has to protect the Fae. And I kind of give Acronis like a dirty look.
A nat 20, he hears you, and with that, you feel the world tree like next to you, just kind of like, in a druidic sense, you feel the roots kind of like just tingle and like move around, like he's basically flexing.
Yeah.
He's like, shut up, essentially. You guys kind of don't really feel it underneath you, but Bruno does. Gaston goes on to say, well, if you are to ascend the mountain, as a stone genasi, I thrive. However, I don't find myself in a good enough condition to help guide you on this journey. Have you been before? A hard gulp from Gaston.
Is it not like one path?
He says, it's a connection. It's a connection of paths, mostly tamed stretches. However, there's several passes where your physical strengths and mental fortitude just helps when someone has experience traversing, simply. Koyori looks up at Gaston and she says, am I going to die up there? And Gaston quickly kind of reassures her, no, not with the guidance of your friends here. The safety in numbers, truly. You must just ensure you have your rations. You're very winterized now, so what are your concerns?
Could you give us direction?
He kind of laughs and says, certainly. I can draw up a map presently. He says, does anybody have a quill and possibly some paper, parchment?
I believe
Actually, yes.
Odysseus has parchment.
You do?
It's in my pouch.
You have a
The
number of scrolls.
Blank scrolls.
Get some.
Scroll would be better.
Yeah.
Ludicius,
Like,
your friend.
papers.
Ludicius, this is your friend.
Yes.
Okay. Hi.
And
How you doing?
He says, you're the man with the scroll.
I have
Yeah.
the
I
pen
also-
and the ink.
No, I want to pull out. I'm gonna be like, no, we're gonna use this, and I pull out my quill, and I'm like, all right, everybody, stick out your hand,
What is this nonsense?
and I go
Koyori sticks her hand up.
Yeah.
as fast as I can. I go.
What the fuck?
What is this pain?
And I'm like, use this.
You don't need to transfer your diseases. Alright. And then he does a nice sketch. Kind of whips out just kind of like a couple directions and roll me a survival check to see what kind of info he
How
gives
good
you.
of a map that is. Ooh, that's pretty decent. Survival. That's intelligence, so 21.
Alright. So, in a map that I'll prepare for you next time, he actually details the path like up top towards the crown, which is where many people tend to get lost because it's where like blizzards and such rage the hardest, and just the paths kind of mix and cross, and who knows, maybe the Fae rotate mountains because that's what happens. But you think that his directions are current and new, and he talks about the mythology behind it while he's doing it. He describes in great detail about how giants roamed the mountaintops, and they used to be even higher by thousands of feet, but the weight of the civilizations of these giants, kind of similar how to the Melanomus forest used to be just sprouting with these large world trees. However, worlds change. So he kind of was talking about reminiscent about how, because he's, as a stone genasi, mountains are shit. So he's totally kind of getting all that information to you guys, and he points out a couple spots that they're like, have been reported seeing, in a sort of this Bigfoot-esque manner. And he actually lines up a couple spots as well that he says are protected with wards, because it is a traverse place, so you guys will be protected in certain areas from spells and harms.
Okay, interesting. This is very good information. Thank you.
He says, I apologize. I would love. He kind of like looks up, kind of loftily at it, to traverse with you. All right. You guys hear water, flow free, water.
I say, well, unless there's anything else, guys, I think we need to just grab these world seeds and head on up the mountain.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Let's go.
Ready for a new adventure.
As summer kind of like is like entering the space and the aura of these world seeds, can you roll me an Arcana check?
And then
Intelligence. Yeah.
21.
With a 21, you were getting the internal urge to place one of these seeds south.
Okay.
You are in your head, like your kind of like whole like internal purpose is driven by what seems to be bringing this seed south.
Do we know
No. You can choose to share that information with your party or not.
I will share it.
Be very careful with your words on what you let your party know.
I just got this weird sense coming into the area of the seeds that one of these will eventually need to be placed towards the south.
Crazy.
Ludicius is not amused. As this crazy purple fairy popped out in the middle of the night and is now demanding that they travel south.
I'm just gonna say, like, yeah, I just want to make sure that this forest is on its way to healing before we do this, because that is kind of what we wanted to do.
We can heal it on the way up the mountain.
Up the mountain we go then.
Oh, also, I just thought of, could I get a description of the Hua and the kind of the general area of where they reside from Acronis?
Of the what? I'm sorry.
Oh,
Hakwa,
There's a Hakwa. The person
Water
who could
person.
help bring water.
the sea person.
Yeah, he kind of. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how we should handle that. Yes, he gives a verbal description of. You have to go directly west from the tip, the southernmost tip of the crest, Wingman's spine. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Basically, take like the large mountain range, go to the last like peak, and then seek left towards the lake.
Okay.
You can't miss it. It's super big.
All right. Well, I think we're ready then. Start trekking.
Mountain.
He, while you guys are going, Acronis says,
Join us next week.
Yeah,
Find out what happens on the adventure.